Welcome, TEDxDetroit. I am so happy to be here, and I just want everyone to know that I am a triathlete. I usually get that response. Zig Ziglar said, what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. On April 25th, 2010, my only goal that day was to finish an Olympic-sized distance triathlon in St. Petersburg, Florida. I decided to do this in honor of my mother. There she is. Geraldine Green, actually Dr. Geraldine Green. See, in this picture right here, this is 3 months before she died. She was fighting colon cancer. And she made me promise that I would do something physical as far as getting back in shape. So I said, hey, Mom, I would love to do a triathlon. She said, would you do that for me? And I agreed to it. So on April 25th, 2010, I participated in the St. Anthony's Triathalon in St. Petersburg, an attempt to just try to keep a promise. Some of you may understand that, trying, get a triathlon, trying to keep a promise. Olympic-sized triathlon is very easy, at least I think it is now. It consists of a 0.9-mile swim. I always round up 1 mile swim. Sounds so much better. A 24.85-mile bike ride, 25-mile bike ride, and a 6.2 run. I decided to participate in a program called Team in Training with leukemia and lymphoma. They do blood cancers. Oh, you're familiar with it. Great. And in the process, you stay with the team for 4 months. You get a running coach, a swim coach, and a biking coach. And they teach you these techniques to survive a triathlon. Let me introduce you to my team. This is the day of the swim that we're going to participate in. You may not see me, but let me point myself out. There I am. We wear wetsuits because you have to wear them in a water that's above 72 degrees. Cool thing about wetsuits, they make you more buoyant, or more buoyancy in the water because of salt water. What you don't see in this picture is that the swim coach and I had a long talk. See, we had to practice swim, and I did terrible. We spent 4 months in a swimming pool. All of a sudden, they want me to swim in this large body of water with sharks, can't see anything at the bottom, salt water. And she said, in order to finish the swim, Victor, we need to develop a plan for you. And the plan is quite simple. Do freestyle. Everyone's familiar with freestyle swim. If you start getting tired and your breathing starts changing, I want you to do something that she created. I think she made it up on the spot. She said, I want you to do chicken, airplane, and soldier. I said, chicken, airplane, and soldier? She said, yeah, go from freestyle, get your breathing, get on your back, chicken, airplane, soldier. It's a form of an elementary backstroke. And if that fails during your swim, then go to your strong swim stroke, which is the backstroke. Now, most people say you should not do a backstroke during the triathlon because it requires too much legs. Doing the swim of a triathlon, what you want to do is use more arms and save your legs for the bike ride and the run. So let me explain to you how the swim goes. Here's St. Petersburg and swim. First leg of the swim starts off at the beach area. It goes out to the yellow buoys. Now, there are 2 different buoys in there. So orange buoy that starts off the race, there's the yellow buoy. The yellow buoy tells you to make a turn. The second buoy is down at the 2/3 of the way during the swim. And then you finish up, and you may see at the corner there's some stairs that lead you out of the water. There's 32 waves of swimmers that's participating in this race. 4,000 people. I am wave number 32 starting off. My wave starts at 9:05. The first wave starts at 6 o'clock in the morning. And we're waiting and we're waiting. What happens on wave number 25, although the waters look calm here, the media reported that the winds got very high with 2-foot waves. Announcer came on the radio and said, hey, we got to stop. We have to rearrange the course. At this particular time, they have kayakers and rescue people all around the water. I think they had rescued 40 swimmers already. The problem was the back end from 1 to 2. The waters got too rough. So they said they're going to change the distance of the swim, but they won't cancel it to finish the rest of the ways. And we had to hurry up and get done because the storm was coming in. So they removed the second turn, and they added in a third, kind of like almost a 90-degree triangle. Well, here we are, about to start off on the swim. Doing the swim at every orange buoy, which is about 125 yards apart from each other, there's a kayaker. Although this is not the kayaker that was watching me, I'm going to introduce you to him shortly. His name is John. And here's an overview. Now, this is a picture of a scared man. I am frightened beyond my mind. This is 30 seconds before the swim is about to start. I'm going through a strategy in my mind. Rules state that you have to stay right of the buoys. I also have to go through the strategy in my mind that says, okay, freestyle. If freestyle fails, go to chicken, airplane, and soldier. If that fails, go to backstroke. I am ready to do this. Whistle goes off, and I start off my swim. I made it to the second buoy. The water is really beginning to pick up. Every time I take a breath on my right side, I'm drinking salt water. I'm beginning to panic. I then turn on my back, chicken, airplane, soldier, and it's not working. The water is coming on top of my face. About a third of the way in the swim, I just stop. I kept hearing this guy scream at me, swimmer, swimmer, stay to the right. Swimmer, swimmer, stay to the right. Right of the buoys. Well, I got a little pissed off with him. He kept screaming at me. I realized at that point when I stopped, I'm the only one left in the water. Everyone else had passed me. I thought to myself, wow, this promise that I made to my mother, I'm about to cancel it. There's no way I can finish this race. The kayaker who was right next to me the whole time, I figured, let me make it personal to him. Let me make me personal to him. I said, what is your name? He said, my name is John. I said, John, my name is Victor. Let me tell you what's going on. I said, you screaming at me staying to the right is not helping me out at all. I also said, this chicken, airplane, and soldier, who in the hell came up with that? That's not working at all. He said to me, you're carrying a lot of worries and concerns right now. At that moment, I realized, yes, I'm the last one in the water. Yes, I'm getting ready to panic. That if I don't leave my worries and concerns at that buoy, it was too heavy for me to carry that I would sink. John asked me, is there anything I can do for you? I said, I'm going to leave my pride right here. I'm going to continue this swim. But can you watch over me and make sure I'm safe? He said, Victor, I've been watching over you since buoy number 1. I said, in that case, I'm going to give you a new name. A new name right now. You are now called Saint John, the saint to watch over me. I began my swim, backstroke. Didn't work. I began my swim with breaststroke. Made it through my first turn. I am moving pretty good. Now, have you ever been in the ocean before, the Gulf of Mexico, your goggles fog up completely? I took a stop at the next buoy to clear my goggles. He looked at me and said, are you okay? I said, that's fine. I said, I'm doing well. I looked off about 25 yards ahead of me, and I realized there's a lot of splashing in the water. When you're working with fear and fears in your mind, stuff becomes made up. I thought at that moment there was a shark attacking the seal. And the seal wasn't winning at all. I was more than halfway through, and I figured I couldn't turn back around, so maybe if I swim past them, they won't notice me at all. I said to St. John, I said, St. John, what's happening in front of me? He said, there's another swimmer. I said, are you kidding me? You mean I caught someone doing the breaststroke? He said, yes. I said, all that splashing, he's not doing very well. He said, no, he's not. He said, Victor, all you got to do is swim to the next buoy. I end up passing this guy. I make it to the next buoy and realized that I looked over to my right and they were rescuing this guy out the water. At that moment, I felt defeated. I said, wow, he's doing freestyle, and they rescued him. Before I was able to say a word, St. John looked at me and said, Victor, look at me carefully. He took the easy route out. All you have to do is swim to the next buoy. Do it now. I make it to the next buoy. I'm one buoy away. The current has pushed me way right of the stairs. He said, Victor, stick your head in the water, swim as hard as you can, and make it to the stairs. I make it to the stairs. I turn around. St. John's on his kayak, face down. I hit him as hard as I can on his butt and said, thanks, St. John, for being with me. I exit the water, and this is a picture of a happy man. I realized that I made it through the swim. An official came over to me, standing to my left. I knew he was official because he had the word official on his shirt, and he had a two-way radio. He asked me, what is your name? I said, my name is Victor Green. He got on the radio and he said, Victor Green's out of the water. All swimmers are accounted for. He's heading now to the bike transition. I took off my wetsuit, put on my bike shoes, about to leave to go on this 25-mile bike ride. The official came over to me and said, because you're the last person, you're going to be followed by a police officer to make sure no one runs you off the road. I said, 5-0 is going to be following me? He's not going to be chasing me, right? He said, no. I continue through my bike ride, and I'm riding, I'm pedaling. I get to mile marker 15. At this point, I'm beginning to cramp, and I said, I don't know if I can go any further. Not realizing that one of my team members was at mile marker 15. And when she saw me, she started screaming as if I was the first person she saw. She had been waiting out there for hours. I said to myself, wow, I can't let her down. I continue on with the bike ride. Police officer still behind me. Every time I look back at him, he blew his little horn. I made it through the bike ride, jumped off the bike ride, went back to the police officer, gave him a high five, thanked him. Went to the transition of the run, put on my running shoes. That same official guy came to me again. He said to me, Victor Green's done with the bike riding, heading to the run now. The other voice on the other side of the radio said, make sure he can finish the run. Because of the lateness of the swim, they were beginning to shut down the triathalon. He said to me, are you going to be able to finish the run? I said, I'm exhausted. I'm on E, but I got a promise I have to keep. I would like for you to take my medallion, pin it on the finish line. If you have to shut down the triathalon, that's fine. I promise you, I will not cheat the 6.2-mile run. He said, if you do the run, we'll be waiting for you at the finish line. So, I started my run. As I started off my run, I made it through mile 1. And I ran into another team member, Courtney. She had finished the race earlier. At this time, we had 84% humidity, 88 degrees temperature. And she said to me, Victor, is there anything I can do? I threw my sunglasses and hat at her and said, it's too heavy for me to carry. She said, if you make it to the next mile, I will run with you on the sidewalk. If you make it to the next mile, I will do a dance for you to celebrate. Okay? We made it to the next mile, and she started doing what she called a running man. She's running in place. There's a police car following me. I looked at her and I said, don't ever do that again. I said, we're both going to be arrested here. I make it through mile 3, mile 4, and I'm coming up to mile 5. And I realize I'm beginning to cramp pretty bad now. See, the swim took too much out of me. Although I hydrated myself on a bike ride, I don't think I can take another step. I began to spot run, make it to this tree, make it to the next tree, to break the long distance into shorter accomplishments. Just at that point, I said, I am not going to take another step. I'm going to call it quits. Sorry, Mom. I try next year. 4 team members came out of nowhere, was waiting for me. And they said, hey, we got to continue to run. As we took another 200 yards, 4 more team members were waiting for me. And 4 more. And I'm beginning to find the strength that I never knew I had. I get to mile marker 6. There's a guy I couldn't recognize. He is jumping up in the air. He runs over to me and said, hi, I'm St. John. He said, we started this race together. We're going to finish this race together. There's my team members there. The last part of the race, I'm in a full sprint. As you can see, I burst into tears as we crossed the finish line. I didn't burst into tears because I got a chance to have a medallion. I didn't burst into tears because I kept a promise or I finished a triathlon, although that was part of it. The main reason I burst into tears because I had a team that stood by me from the beginning to the end. Just when I didn't think I can do any more, take another step, another pedal, another stroke, they were there. Well, I got my medallion. I got this medallion, and I have it in my office. And I show people not to say I completed an Olympus-sized distant triathlon. I have this medallion to remind myself that no matter how big the problem is, no matter how deep, how wide the situation may seem, that if I stay in the race with the will and determination, and I surround myself around strong people that want to accomplish my goals just like I want to accomplish their goals, and I simply go buoy to buoy, I can finish any race. I kept my promise. Thank you very much.